Join us as we pierce the mysteries of the shadow. Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire, here to talk to you about another mystery for the 1st edition Pathfinder Oracle, this time talking about the shadow. Shadow Mysteries offer such an incredible array of abilities for any enterprising oracle out there that chooses to go this route, and it's incredible the level of power here. I still think I might give the edge to the time mystery overall, but even still, Shadow is a pretty close competitor there. But before we get into all the details around that, if you're new here to the channel, go on down there, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or, if you've already gone on ahead and listed yourself on such an incredible roster of legendary heroes, then go on down to hit the like button and share the video far and wide. But now, let's start delving into what exactly the Shadow Mystery offers you. And to start things off, much like the Time Mystery last time, this gives you a few class skills. You get to add in Bluff, Disguise, Knowledge, Dungeoneering, and Stealth as class skills, and this is really great for you to have. Bluff is pretty solid given that we have a high charisma score, and you're going to make a pretty solid face character. Disguise, even though you do have a good charisma score, as mentioned earlier, you have lots of magical options to help with this. Disguise is going to be of mostly limited use for you, except for maybe in a handful of situations. Knowledge Dungeoneering is going to be great. It's going to help you identify creatures that you might find in cavernous kind of locations. And then Stealth meshes pretty nicely for you, given that you're going to be at your heaviest, unless you take the heavy armor proficiency feat, you're going to be wearing medium armor, which is going to impose a relatively minimal armor check penalty on the stealth skill. And then you can still have a pretty reliable dexterity bonus to everything, and the Shadow Mystery adds in a lot to your stealth skill overall. So you can really stack this up into the stratosphere and have incredible bonuses to stealth. Then, for your bonus spells, at 2nd level you gain Blurred Movement. Then, at 4th level you get to pick up Invisibility, Deeper Darkness at 6th level, Shadow Step at 8th level, Vampiric Shadow Shield at 10th level, which is, you could skip pretty reliably. I doubt you'd ever burn a spell slot on this particular spell. But then at 12th level you get Shadow Walk, Mass Invisibility at 14th level, Greater Shadow Evocation at 16th level, and Shades at 18th level. These are awesome selections for you to have. Both Shadow Evocation and Shades just open up an incredible array of spells for you. Just absolutely amazing that you get to have those two. I mean, Greater Shadow Evocation will allow you to mimic evocation spells of 8th level or lower, if I'm remembering the spell description correctly. Even if I'm off there and it's 7th level and lower, that's a huge number of spells that you get to copy with this one particular spell. This greatly expands your spellcasting ability, and to top it off, it's a spell out of the Wizard and Sorcerers spell list that is copying those particular spells. On top of the fact that you are a divine spellcaster, this gives you an incredible amount of flexibility on the battlefield. But now we need to actually talk about the revelations that you get to pick up. And as last time, we are going to be covering everything that is technically available from 1st level for your first revelations, and can pick up all the way up through till 7th level, on and on like that. So to start us off, we have Army of Darkness. When you cast any summon monster spell and conjure a creature with the Fiendish or Celestial template, you can instead summon them with the Shadow Creature template. Also, this will count as you having the spell focused conjuration feat for meeting the prerequisites for augment summoning, and any feat that lists augment summoning as a requirement. So this will do a lot to help boost your summon creature abilities, and the fact that you get to skip actually having spell focus conjuration as part of the requirements to get into augment summoning is great, which in and of itself, that is a great spell to have. A pretty solid boost to your summon monster spells. Now, it should be noted that with the shadow creature template, this makes your creatures a bit more of the defensive variety, whereas Fiendish and Celestial lean more into the offensive category. So for lower level summon monster spells, this can help to make them more effective meat shields to keep you and the rest of your party protected in the midst of a fight. But then we go on from there to Cloak of Darkness. You make a Cloak of Shadows that grants a +4 armor bonus and a +2 circumstance bonus to stealth. At 7th level and every 4 levels after, the bonuses increase by 2. Usable 1 hour per level. Now each bit of usage that you do doesn't have to be consecutively used, but it is spent in 1 hour chunks. That's an incredible duration for you to have there. That is going to boost your survivability and your ability to pass unnoticed to incredible degrees. And because it's circumstance bonus to your stealth skill, it's going to stack with any of the other bonuses that you may manage to garner for yourself. Then we go from there to the Dark Secrets revelation. You add a number of spells from the Wizard and Sorcerer list equal to your Charisma modifier for a minimum of 1, max equal to 1/2 your Oracle level, to your spell list. These spells have a level equal to their spell level, so if it's a 3rd level spell, it is cast as if you were a 3rd level Wizard or Sorcerer. You can only add illusion spells from the Shadow subschool or spells with the Shadow descriptor. That sounds limiting, but it's really not that bad. Each time you gain a level, you may choose to replace one spell for a new qualifying spell on the Sorcerer Wizard list. So for an example of why that limitation is not necessarily that bad, at 3rd level you can pick up Haunting Mists, 4th level Shadow Dragon Aspect, 7th level Simulacrum, 8th level Greater Shadow Evocation, 9th level Shades. Now you get those as bonus spells, so while the last two, Greater Shadow Evocation and Shades, you wouldn't necessarily want to use through this is just an example of why this revelation is awesome for you, because this is allowing you to further expand the number of other spells that you're able to cast from the Wizard and Sorcerer spell lists. This is a huge amount of flexibility for you. Absolutely something that you will want to pick up. Then the next option is Pierce the Shadows. This revelation is going to be handy for any oracle. Gain dark vision of 60 feet. If you already have dark vision, increase it by 60 feet. At 11th level, you can now see perfectly in darkness of any kind, including absolute darkness and the deeper darkness spell. That's a great way around a spell that is particularly a debuff, and is a great way around a limitation that a lot of adventurers have, especially if you're playing a human or a halfling, somebody that doesn't have an innate dark vision. This will grant you that, and if you do have an innate dark vision, you still gain benefit from this by having it extended outwards. So all the way around, Pierce the Shadows will be handy for you and will be a must-have if you're playing somebody without a dark vision ability. Then the next revelation is one that you can pretty comfortably skip. There's more to it than what I've listed here, but this is enough to be a disqualifier. Shadow Armament, you create a semi-real, simple or martial masterwork weapon. The first time you hit a creature with it, they make a will save to disbelieve it. Failure means its damage damages the target normally. Success will only inflict 1 damage. Now, as you advance in level, you gain enhancement bonuses, you gain the ability to apply enchantment effects like Keen or Frost, but overall, this is going to be so supremely limited because as you get higher and higher in level, more and more of the creatures you're facing are going to be more than likely to have good will saving throws. All kinds of outsiders, dragons, so many different creatures will have good will saves. So it's not going to be a big advantage for you. And to top it off, going into the Shadow Mysteries kind of build, you're going to be less of a close combatant. You're building up all of these diverse ranges of spells. You're going to be wanting to avoid being in melee with targets. So Shadow Armament is not going to be for you, and even then, you have real, actual physical weapons that you can just beat your opponents with over the head. You have plenty of staves, maces, warhammers, so many better options than using Shadow Armament. But then we go on to something much better, to Stealth Mastery. Now, Stealth Mastery, when you select this, you'll gain Skill Focus Stealth. Not bad, and it's for a skill that's going to be pretty good for you, especially with the Shadow Mysteries. Then at 8th level, you gain Signature Skill Stealth, even if you don't meet the requirements for it. And then at 16th level, you gain the Hide in Plain Sight Shadow Dancer class feature, which is huge. This allows you to use your stealth skill in a variety of places, even if you are lacking cover. So, Stealth Mastery will be great, although it is lacking in comparison to several of these other revelations. Revelations like Living Shadow. You become a shadow, functioning as the gaseous form spell. But then at 14th level, this functions as Shadow Body instead, in addition to granting damage reduction 10 versus magic, and become immune to poison, sneak attack, and critical hits, which is a huge defensive buff. This is usable a number of minutes equal to your Oracle level, so if you get into trouble, this will be of great value to you, although I would recommend this for a pickup around level 15 or so. This should be your 15th level revelation, and it's going to be incredibly viable for you just gaining all of these other bonuses on top of things, because you're most likely going to be taking sneak attacks and critical hits from sneaky characters that will be approaching you from the flank and getting around, trying to get around some of the advantages that spellcasters have. But then we move on from there to Shadow Mastery. Whenever you cast an illusion spell from the Shadow subschool, increase the strength of such spells by 1% per Oracle level that you have, which is a huge, significant boost. Greater Shadow Evocation becomes that much more useful to you. So does Shades. Then Shadow Projection, another one that you can pick up by the time you hit 7th level. You infuse your shadow with your psyche and life force, functioning as Shadow Projection, except as noted. Your shadow has the Outsider and Phantom subtype instead of Undead, meaning it can't be affected like an undead creature. It doesn't register as evil, it cannot be turned as an undead creature, though it can be turned as an Outsider. Then, it's also usable a number of hours equal to 1/2 your Oracle level, so that's going to be a significant amount of time for it to be lasting anyways. Your shadow's hit points aren't replenished between uses, but when not in use, any healing that's done to you heals your shadow, or it will heal as outsiders are able to heal, which is, again, incredibly useful, and Shadow Projection is just a really solid spell anyways, pretty great to have, and all of these adjustments to it make it just that much better for you. Definitely a great revelation to consider. But another one that will give you a greater degree of utility and maneuverability is Wings of Darkness. As a swift action, manifest translucent inky wings that give you a 60-foot fly speed with good maneuverability, usable for 1 minute per Oracle level. But then, at 11th level, these may be used to fly as with Overland Flight once a day, lasting for 1 hour per level, and your usage will count as the usage for the day. So again, this is great for a huge amount of maneuverability for you, whether in combat or just for general travel. This will be a great revelation for you to consider. But then we come to the pièce de résistance, your 20th level final revelation, your capstone ability. You are suffused with the essence of the Shadow Plane. You gain regeneration 5 while in dim light or darkness, immunity to cold, critical hits, and sneak attacks. Your regen is suppressed in anything brighter than dim light. Any spells with the shadow descriptor are enlarged without affecting their level. So any spell that you might be casting through Greater Shadow Evocation is going to be automatically enlarged. So that is going to be incredibly useful, a great combination to have. And this is an instance where you will want to go with this revelation rather than choosing the Oracle's alternate capstone ability, allowing them to select 2 revelations from another mystery. And the fact that you have Regeneration 5 and all of these other boosts like immunity to critical hits, sneak attacks, and cold is just fantastic. It's just icing on the cake. I mean, some people might think, but wait, if you're in anything brighter than dim light, all that goes away. Well, yeah, just like every other adventurer and just like you were beforehand. This is just an extra boost that you get in the meantime, and you're going to be in darkness, or dim lighting at least, more often than not, just as frequently as you are in light. And you can do a lot of things to turn lighting to something dim or just outright darkness anyways. Overall, though, the Shadow Mystery is a great mystery for you to pick up. The series of revelations that you have very few bad options, aside from the one, and you get a great number of spells and utility and offense out of this. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Did you like today's video? Did you dislike it? Do you rate the Shadow Mystery differently than I do? Do you think any of these abilities have been overstated, or have I undersold them? Either way, go down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Hit those like or dislike buttons, and remember that if you're new here to the channel, then go on down there to hit the subscribe button and become a regular member. But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you will have yourselves a good night.